A massive hit for the Phoenix Suns. According to reports, Dillon Brooks has a broken left hand.
Dillon Brooks broke his hand 7 minutes into his return from suspension. Now LeBron, the man Brooks called old and overrated for years, is having the last laugh. What did LeBron do that has everyone screaming karma? And is the villain era officially over? Let's get into it. The hand that broke the villain. Dillon Brooks, the self-proclaimed villain of the NBA, the man who has made an entire career out of getting under people's skin, poking bears, and talking trash that would make most players lose their composure, just suffered one of the cruelest twists of fate this season. And honestly, the timing could not have been worse. On February 21st, 2026, during a game against the Orlando Magic, Brooks suffered a broken left hand in the first quarter, exiting the game after just 7 minutes of play while clutching his non-shooting hand. 7 minutes. That's all it took for the Suns' season to take a dramatic turn for the worse. No spectacular collision, no highlight reel moment where you could point to the screen and say, that's the play. It was incidental contact, the kind of thing that happens dozens of times a game. Except this time, it ended with Dillon Brooks walking off the court, grabbing at his hand, and leaving behind a Phoenix Suns team that desperately needed him. The very next day, ESPN senior NBA insider Shams Charania confirmed what every Suns fan was dreading. Brooks had fractured his left hand and would be sidelined indefinitely. And within 24 hours of that announcement, the timeline became a little more concrete, but no less painful. A 4 to 6 week recovery window, meaning his earliest possible return wouldn't come until around March 17th, and possibly not until early April. Now here's what makes this especially brutal. This is a man who has been having a career year, and that's not hyperbole. Brooks has been averaging 20.9 points, 3.7 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and 1.0 steals per game this season, shooting 44% from the field and 34.3% from three. Those are career best numbers. He's been a borderline all-star, the heartbeat of this Suns team and their leading scorer. And now he's sitting on the bench with a cast on his left hand, which, by the way, is exactly how he was spotted during the Suns' very next game, a 92-77 loss to the Portland Trail Blazers. Almost like the universe was underlining the point. Without Dillon Brooks, this team is in trouble. And the thing that adds a layer of almost poetic irony to all of this, the man had just come back from a 1-game suspension. That's right, Brooks had literally just served a suspension for racking up his 16th technical foul of the season, and in his very first game back, he breaks his hand. You couldn't script this if you tried. The NBA's biggest villain, the guy who has been fined, ejected, and suspended more times than most players can count, finally returns to action, only to have his body betray him in the most basic way possible.
You can't hang your hat on defense without your two best defensive guys.
And that's the reality the Suns are now staring down, because this injury doesn't just remove a scorer, it removes an identity.
A massive hit for the Phoenix Suns. According to reports, Dillon Brooks has a broken left hand.
The Suns are sitting at 33-25, second in the Pacific Division, fighting for playoff positioning in a ruthless Western Conference. And they just lost the one guy who brings the fire every single night. To make matters worse, Devin Booker was already ruled out for at least a week with a right hip strain, meaning this roster is as thin as it's been all year. Players like Jalen Green, Grayson Allen, and Jordan Goodwin are going to have to step into roles they weren't necessarily built for. And even then, there's something about Brooks that simply can't be replicated by committee.
I mean, it's a two-way impact for Dillon, right? 21.2 points per game, that's top 30 in the league.
It's not just the scoring though, is it? It's the edge, it's the mentality.
And he's one of the better defenders in the league as well.
Brooks has been that rare player who impacts both ends of the floor at an elite level. And now the Suns are without him for the stretch run of the season. Analysts are calling it a massive blow for Phoenix's playoff ambitions, and it's hard to argue otherwise. When you look at comparable NBA hand injuries, Russell Westbrook came back in 4 weeks in 2014, Chris Paul took 4 to 6 weeks in 2024, while Stephen Curry's more severe fracture in 2019 cost him 3 months. The range is wide, and every case is different. Brooks' fracture being on his non-dominant hand offers some optimism for a smoother return, but the Suns' medical staff will be walking a tightrope between urgency and caution. But the Suns' problems don't stop at just losing points on the scoreboard. What makes Brooks irreplaceable is something that doesn't show up in any box score. It's the presence, the swagger, the way he walks onto the court like he owns the building, regardless of whose building it actually is. It's the way opponents have to account for him on every single possession, not just because he can score, but because he is going to make your life miserable on the defensive end. He's going to talk, he's going to bump you, he's going to get inside your head and set up camp.
We've got a villain junior to our villain in Colin Gillespie. We've seen this team fight through adversity.
And that fight, that refusal to back down, that has has been the backbone of this Suns season. Without it, everything changes.
A lot of the times it gets sparked by Dillon Brooks, and while also losing Jordan Goodwin for an unspecified amount of time.
The losses are compounding. Brooks gone, Goodwin gone, Booker hobbled. This team, which has overachieved all year long, is being asked to dig deep one more time. And this time, the shovel might just be breaking. And here's where the story gets really interesting. Because while the Suns are scrambling to figure out life without their villain, there's a certain someone in Los Angeles who might just be sitting back, watching all of this unfold with the faintest hint of a smile on his face. And the internet? Oh, the internet noticed. Social media erupted the moment Brooks's injury was announced, and the reactions were, well, let's just say not everyone was sending get well soon cards. One fan wrote, "Dillon Brooks gave himself karma and broke his hand honestly," while another captured the mood of many LeBron fans with a painfully honest admission, not celebrating anyone getting hurt, but Dillon Brooks. But why? Why would so many people look at a man's broken hand and think karma? Well, to answer that, you have to understand the history. And when it comes to Dillon Brooks and LeBron James, there is a lot of history. The rivalry that built the villain. To truly appreciate why so many fans felt a certain way about Dillon Brooks breaking his hand, you have to rewind the clock. Because this isn't just about one injury in one game in February 2026. This is about years of Dillon Brooks doing everything in his power to get under the skin of the greatest basketball player of his generation. And what's remarkable is not just what Brooks has said, but how brazenly and consistently he said it. It all traces back to the 2023 NBA playoffs. Brooks was on the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies drew the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round. Before the series was even underway, Brooks had publicly expressed his desire to face LeBron, saying, "I wouldn't mind playing LeBron in a 7-game series, knock him out right away." Bold words from a guy who, at that point, had never won a playoff series in his career. But that was just the appetizer. After Game 2, which the Grizzlies won, Brooks stepped up to the microphone and delivered a line that would follow him for the rest of his career.
There are people out there that say maybe you shouldn't do that with one of the better players in the game. What were you thinking?
I don't care, he's old.
He's old. 2 words that set the entire basketball world on fire. But Brooks wasn't done, not even close.
Should have been saying that earlier on. But, I poke bears. I don't respect no one until they come and give me 40.
I poke bears. That phrase became the defining quote of the entire series, and arguably of Brooks' entire career. He was essentially telling the world that LeBron James, the all-time leading scorer in NBA history, was just another guy to him, that he needed to prove himself. And here's the thing, when asked whether calling LeBron old was a step too far, given that he's a legend, Brooks didn't flinch.
He's a legend. He's LeBron James. But, when I'm on that floor, you're just another player to me.
Just another player. To a 41-year-old man who has 4 championships, 4 MVPs, and holds the all-time scoring record, the audacity was breathtaking, and it got Brooks exactly what he wanted: attention. Every sports show, every podcast, every group chat in America was talking about Dillon Brooks. But here's the part Brooks might not have anticipated. LeBron didn't take the bait, not even a little bit.
He is the league's probably premier villain now. But as far as trash talking with another player, Dillon Brooks is excellent at his job.
See, LeBron's approach to all of this was almost surgically precise.
I'm not here for the bull. I'm ready to play, and that's it.
That was his entire response at the Lakers practice session heading into Game 3. He didn't even acknowledge Brooks by name. When reporters asked him 4 or 5 times about Brooks's comments, he refused to mention him, and then he let the court do the talking. The Lakers went on to eliminate the Grizzlies in 6 games. LeBron averaged 22.2 points in the series compared to Brooks's 10.5, and after it was all over, LeBron posted that now legendary Instagram message: "If you ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear, help the bear," a direct, devastatingly subtle clapback at Brooks' poke bears line. The Grizzlies sent Brooks packing that summer, declining to re-sign him. But the story didn't end there. It never ends with Dillon Brooks. After bouncing to the Houston Rockets and eventually landing on the Phoenix Suns via a blockbuster 7-team trade in July 2025, Brooks picked up right where he left off. No matter what jersey he put on, his mission remained the same: make LeBron James uncomfortable, make him react, make him human. The fact that Brooks changed teams twice and the target on LeBron's back never moved, that tells you everything about how personal this became for him. In December 2025, the Suns and Lakers met twice, and both games were absolute chaos. In the first matchup, a 116-114 Lakers win, Brooks hit a go-ahead 3-pointer with 12.2 seconds left, but was immediately ejected for aggressively chest-bumping LeBron, earning his second technical foul. LeBron missed the ensuing technical free throw, but sealed the win with 2 clutch free throws after Devin Booker fouled him. Days later, Brooks broke his silence. He called LeBron a social media junkie, a man who, in Brooks' words, monitors what people say about him online.
I don't have social media like that, so I don't get to see all the aftermath and stuff.
Brooks was positioning himself as the authentic one, the guy who doesn't live online.
LeBron's so upset about earlier when he got
I don't know. I guess he's a social media junkie. He be all over the social, so he be seeing, I guess, what I'm saying.
And then, in the rematch, Brooks exploded for 33 points in a 125-108 Suns blowout. He stared LeBron down after a transition dunk, mimicked LeBron's own shoulder shrug celebration, and, in what many fans considered the ultimate act of disrespect, he backed down Bronny James, LeBron's son, before a travel call, prompting LeBron to give a thumbs down from the bench. Post-game, Brooks dropped another memorable line. He likes people that bow down. I don't bow down. So that either entices him or it aggravates him, either or. But Brooks still wasn't satisfied. In January 2026, he appeared on a Twitch live stream with content creator Agent Jozu and took things even further, calling current LeBron old and contrasting him unfavorably with his prime Miami Heat self. He said that Miami Bron had more game, more agile, and that you couldn't trash talk that version of LeBron, but the current version, easy. And by February 2026, Brooks was on a live stream flat out calling LeBron overrated, saying, his time is coming to an end. Let that sink in for a second. A player averaging 20.9 points per game, career best numbers, absolutely, was looking at a 41-year-old man averaging 23 points per game on 49% shooting and calling him overrated. The math wasn't mathing, but that's Dillon Brooks for you. The audacity has always been the point. He doesn't need the numbers to back up the talk. The talk is the game for him. It's fuel. It's oxygen. It's his entire brand.
You know, he's not at the same level as he was when he was on Cleveland, when he won championships, Miami. You know, I wish I got to see that. You know what I mean? It would have been a harder task.
Even in that moment, even while acknowledging that LeBron in his prime was a different animal entirely, Brooks couldn't resist taking the shot. He wished he could have faced prime LeBron, implying that the current version just isn't that impressive. And this mentality, this relentless, almost pathological need to disrespect the king, is exactly why so many people looked at his broken hand and thought one word: karma. So now you understand the full picture. This wasn't just idle trash talk from a journeyman. This was a sustained, multi-year campaign of provocation, aimed at the greatest player of his generation. And through all of it, every "he's old" comment, every chest bump, every shoulder shrug, every overrated jab, LeBron kept his composure, describing it all as simply competing, saying, I just like to compete. He's going to compete. I'm going to compete. We're going to get up in each other's face. Try not to go borderline with it. And that restraint, that calm, it only made what happened next feel even more poetic. The last laugh. Now, here's the thing about Dillon Brooks that makes this broken hand situation hit differently. It's not just the trash talk. It's not just the words. It's the fact that Brooks has a long, well-documented history of physical play that has crossed the line multiple times and left a trail of controversy behind him. This is a man who, in the 2022 Western Conference semifinals, committed a flagrant 2 foul on Gary Payton II during a fast break layup, fracturing Payton's elbow and earning a 1-game suspension. Warriors coach Steve Kerr didn't hold back, calling it one of the dirtiest plays I've ever seen. This is the same player who, in 2023, struck Donovan Mitchell in the groin during a loose ball scramble, leading Mitchell to label him a dirty player and call for the league to take action. And in the 2023 playoffs against the Lakers, Brooks hit LeBron James in the groin during Game 3, earning an ejection. In 2025, even Anthony Edwards had something to say about him, stating plainly, everybody know how Dillon Brooks is, man. He played dirty. And then there was perhaps the most controversial incident of all. During the 2025 playoffs against the Golden State Warriors, Brooks was accused of deliberately swiping at Stephen Curry's injured right thumb after shot releases. When asked about it, Brooks didn't deny it. In fact, he practically confirmed it, saying, if I had an injured ankle, I would attack that ankle every single time. That response sent shockwaves through the league. This wasn't just a guy playing physical. This was a player openly admitting that he views exploiting opponents' injuries as strategy. He wasn't apologizing. He wasn't deflecting. He was doubling down. And this, more than anything, is what has cemented Brooks's reputation as something beyond a competitor, as someone who is willing to hurt you and then look you in the eye and tell you it's just part of the game. That's why, when the man who once fractured Gary Payton II's elbow, who has hit multiple players in the groin, who has openly admitted to targeting Steph Curry's injured thumb, when that man breaks his own hand from incidental contact during a regular season game, you can understand why certain corners of the internet found a certain symmetry in it. And the timing of this broken hand couldn't be more loaded with irony. This injury happened immediately after Brooks served a suspension for his 16th technical foul of the season, meaning the basketball gods let him come back for exactly 7 minutes before delivering their verdict. 16 technicals, a suspension, a return, and then a broken hand. If that's not a plot twist ripped straight out of a movie about hubris, nothing is. And that brings us to LeBron James and what is, quietly, one of the most satisfying chapters for LeBron fans this entire season. Because while Brooks has spent years calling LeBron old, overrated, and everything in between, the universe seems to have delivered its own response. Consider this. Just weeks before Brooks broke his hand, LeBron earned his 22nd All-Star selection, making the 2026 All-Star team. Dillon Brooks, despite his career-best 20.9 points per game, did not. Analysts literally called it a cruel twist. The man Brooks keeps calling washed getting the nod over him. And LeBron's response to it all? Silence. Complete, total, deafening silence. As of right now, LeBron James has not publicly commented on Dillon Brooks' broken hand. Not a single word. Not on social media. Not in post-game interviews. Not through intermediaries or cryptic Instagram posts. Nothing. His most recent public appearance was after the Lakers lost to the Boston Celtics on February 23rd, where he talked about Jaylen Brown's MVP candidacy and reflected on the Lakers' struggles. But when it came to Brooks, not a whisper. And that silence, that's the loudest response LeBron could have given, because LeBron has always understood something that Brooks seemingly doesn't. You don't have to say a word when the scoreboard and the record books do the talking for you. Think about it. In 2023, LeBron didn't dignify Brooks' "he's old" comments with a response. He just eliminated the Grizzlies and posted "help the bear." In December 2025, LeBron didn't get into a shouting match after Brooks chest bumped him. He just hit the free throws and won the game. He later said, "This is not my first rodeo. I've had this throughout my career with certain individuals. It's easy. It's very easy." And now, Brooks is sitting out with a broken hand, his team is reeling without him, and LeBron is just playing basketball. He doesn't need to mock Dillon Brooks. He doesn't need to tweet, post, or say a single syllable. The situation speaks for itself. But let's talk about what comes next, because the timing of this injury is almost too perfect from a narrative standpoint. The Lakers and Suns are scheduled to face off on February 26, 2026 in Phoenix. Brooks will obviously be sidelined. This means LeBron walks into the building where his biggest antagonist plays, and that antagonist can do nothing but watch from the sidelines in a cast. No chest bumps, no shoulder shrugs, no "he's old" taunts from the opposing bench, just nothing. And if the Lakers win that game, which previews slightly favor given the Suns' depleted roster, it will feel like the final punctuation mark on this chapter of the rivalry. The Suns are already stretched impossibly thin, without Brooks' 20.9 points and defensive intensity, and with Booker nursing his hip strain, they're going to be relying on role players to hold the fort during a brutal stretch of their schedule.
My biggest question is, what was Jordan Ott's vision for this team offensively?
That's the million-dollar question for Phoenix, because without their villain, their identity is shaken.
You have 25 games left, so it's going to be a very interesting point of before and after.
25 games without the heart and soul of your defense. 25 games without the guy who scores over 20 a night and makes every opponent uncomfortable. If the Suns stumble down the stretch and fall in the playoff standings while LeBron and the Lakers push forward, the narrative writes itself. The man Brooks called old and overrated outlasted him when it mattered most. And there's another date circled on the calendar that makes this even more compelling. April 10th, 2026, when the Lakers host the Suns in Los Angeles. If Brooks has recovered from his 4 to 6 week timeline, that game could be his return to the rivalry, a chance to step back onto the court against LeBron with something to prove. But if he's still sidelined, then LeBron will have gone the entire remainder of the regular season without having to deal with the one player who made it his personal mission to get under LeBron's skin. Either way, as of right now, in February 2026, the scoreboard of this rivalry reads heavily in LeBron's favor. The 2023 playoffs, Lakers won. December 2025, LeBron hit the game-winning free throws in one game and played with composure in both. The 2026 All-Star game, LeBron made it. Brooks didn't. And now, as Brooks sits out with a broken hand he got from playing the exact brand of reckless physical basketball that has defined his career, LeBron James doesn't even have to say a single word. That's the real punchline of this whole saga. Dillon Brooks has spent years trying to get LeBron James to acknowledge him. He's called him old. He's called him overrated. He's chest bumped him. He's shoulder shrugged him. He's gone after his son. He has done absolutely everything short of hiring a skywriter to fly over Crypto.com arena with the message LeBron is washed. And through all of it, every single provocation, every headline-grabbing quote, every viral clip, LeBron's answer has been the same. Win the game, walk away, say nothing. Because sometimes the ultimate response to disrespect is no response at all. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.